Are your legs feeling like dead weight every morning? Do you find yourself gripping the armchair just to stand up because your knees feel like they're screaming at you? Maybe you've noticed your ankles looking puffy and swollen by evening, and you're wondering, is this just what getting older looks like? Listen, I need to tell you something that might shock you. If you're over 60, your body has quietly cut its collagen production by more than half. Half. And that's not just some number in a medical textbook. That's why every step feels harder, why your joints ache, and why your legs feel like they're betraying you when you need them most. But here's what breaks my heart. You've probably been told this is normal, that you just have to live with it. That's simply not true. What I'm about to share with you today could change everything. I'm talking about 7 specific foods, not expensive supplements, not miracle pills, just real, everyday foods that can reduce the swelling in your legs by up to 40% and give your joints the strength they're desperately crying out for. And that number 1 food? It contains more usable collagen than any fancy supplement you'll find in stores, yet 99% of people have never even tasted it. When you discover what it is, you're going to wonder why no one ever told you about this before. Your independence matters. Your ability to walk to the mailbox, to climb stairs, to play with your grandchildren. That's not something you should have to give up. So if you're ready to take back control of your joint health naturally, type "stronger legs" in the comments right now. And please, hit that subscribe button for elderly healthcare, because what I'm sharing today could be the difference between struggling with every step and walking with confidence again. Your legs deserve better, and you deserve to know how to give them what they need. Now, let me walk you through these 7 collagen-rich foods that will help you say goodbye to swelling and hello to stronger legs and joints. Let's start with something you probably have sitting in your pantry right now, or maybe you've been throwing away every fall when you carve pumpkins with the grandkids. Pumpkin seeds. I know what you're thinking. How can something so small make a difference? But here's what most people don't realize. These little seeds are absolutely packed with zinc, magnesium, and manganese. Now, these aren't just fancy mineral names. They're literally the building blocks your body uses to create collagen from scratch. Think of it this way. If collagen is like building a house, these minerals are your hammer, nails, and lumber. Without them, your body simply can't do the construction work your joints desperately need. And here's where so many people go wrong. They spend $50, $60, even $100 a month on collagen supplements, when a bag of pumpkin seeds costs you maybe $3 and gives your body exactly what it needs to make its own collagen naturally. Now, you can't just grab a handful and expect miracles. Here's the simple trick that makes all the difference. Take about a quarter cup of raw pumpkin seeds and soak them overnight in water with just a pinch of sea salt. This breaks down compounds that block your body from absorbing all those precious minerals. The next morning, drain them and either eat them soft or dry roast them lightly for that satisfying crunch. Sprinkle them on your oatmeal, toss them in a salad, or just keep a small bowl on your counter for snacking. I've seen people notice less stiffness in their knees within just 2 weeks of doing this daily. Your body starts getting those raw materials it's been starving for, and it goes to work repairing what's been breaking down. But seeds are just the beginning. Let's talk about a protein source that delivers collagen directly to your joints. Now, here's something that might surprise you. Walk down any grocery aisle, and you'll see people reaching for the boneless, skinless salmon fillets, paying premium prices. Meanwhile, they're walking right past one of nature's most powerful joint-healing foods, canned salmon with the bones still in. I get it. Most of us were taught that bones are something you remove, something that gets in the way. But those soft, edible bones in canned salmon, they're absolute gold mines of natural collagen, calcium, and omega-3 fatty acids that work together like a 3-person repair crew for your joints. Here's what happens when you eat these bones. The collagen goes straight to rebuilding your cartilage, the calcium strengthens your bone structure, and those omega-3s calm down the inflammation that's been making your joints feel like they're on fire. But here's the tragedy. Most people open that can, carefully pick out every single bone, and toss them in the garbage. They're literally throwing away the most healing part of the food. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but I don't like the texture of bones. Listen, these aren't the hard bones you're imagining. The canning process makes them incredibly soft, So soft you can mash them with a fork right into the salmon meat and barely notice they're there. Here's exactly what to do. Look for wild-caught salmon, and make sure it says, with bones, on the label. When you open the can, don't separate anything. Just take your fork and gently mash those bones right into the meat. Mix it all together. You can spread this on toast with some avocado, toss it into a salad, or even stir it into a warm bowl of rice. The people I know who do this consistently tell me their knees feel more stable, their ankle swelling goes down, and they can walk longer distances without that deep aching that used to stop them in their tracks. Speaking of bones, our next food takes this concept even further. Sardines with skin and bones. Now, I can practically hear some of you groaning already. Sardines? Really? I know. They're not exactly the most popular fish at the dinner table. But before you scroll away, let me tell you something that might change your mind forever. Those little sardines, especially when you eat them with the skin and bones intact, are like tiny packages of joint medicine. The skin contains something called elastin. Think of it as nature's rubber band that keeps your joints flexible and bouncy. Combined with the type I collagen in those soft bones, you're getting the exact same building blocks that make up your cartilage and ligaments. It's like giving your body a blueprint and all the materials it needs to rebuild what's been wearing away for years. But here's what breaks my heart. People avoid sardines because they think they taste too fishy or too strong. Meanwhile, they're missing out on one of the most affordable, shelf-stable sources of joint repair you can find. A can of sardines costs less than a single dose of most joint supplements. Now, if you're new to sardines, don't just crack open a can and force yourself to eat them plain. That's a recipe for never trying them again. Here's my gentle introduction method. Take about half a can of sardines and mix them with a few spoonfuls of plain Greek yogurt and a tiny bit of mustard. The yogurt mellows out the fishy taste, and the mustard adds just enough zip to make it interesting. Make sure you choose sardines packed in water or olive oil, never soybean oil or heavy sauces that cancel out the benefits. And please, don't remove the skin or bones. I know they might look a little intimidating, but they're so soft you can mash them right in with your fork. You can spread this mixture on crackers, stuff it into half an avocado, or even stir it into a simple pasta salad. The goal is to get those powerful collagen compounds into your system regularly, not to win any gourmet cooking awards. Within a few weeks of eating sardines twice a week, people tell me their knees feel less creaky, their ankle swelling improves, and they can move with more confidence. Now let's move from fish to something that might surprise you. Now here's where I'm going to ask you to forget everything you've been told for the past 30 years. Chicken skin. I can already imagine what you're thinking. Chicken skin is bad for you. It's full of fat. My doctor told me to remove it. And for decades, that's exactly what we've all been doing. Carefully peeling off that skin and tossing it away, thinking we're doing our hearts a favor. But here's the truth that's going to shock you. That chicken skin contains the exact same type I collagen that's found in your joints, your cartilage, your ligaments. When you eat it, you're literally giving your body the same raw materials it's made of. Think about this for a moment. We spend hundreds of dollars on collagen supplements that promise to help our joints, while we've been throwing away one of nature's most perfect sources of joint-repairing collagen every time we cook chicken. Your grandmother probably knew this instinctively. She roasted whole chickens with the skin on, and I bet she moved better at 80 than many people do at 60 today. Now, I'm not telling you to start eating fried chicken every day. The key is in how you prepare it. When you slow-cook chicken skin by gently baking or roasting it, you preserve all those precious collagen compounds. But when you deep fry it or cook it at super high heat, you destroy the very nutrients that could be healing your joints. Here's what I want you to try. Next time you buy chicken thighs or a whole chicken, leave that skin on. Season it simply with herbs, maybe a little olive oil, and roast it slowly in the oven. Let it get golden and tender, not crispy and burnt. As you eat it, think about the fact that you're giving your knees, your hips, your ankles exactly what they need to rebuild and repair. You're not being indulgent, you're being smart about your joint health. People who make this simple change tell me they notice their joints feel more cushioned, less bone on bone, especially first thing in the morning when they get out of bed. But what if you could get pure, concentrated collagen in liquid form. Well, here it is, pure, concentrated collagen in its most bioavailable form. Gelatin. Now, when I say gelatin, I know exactly what pops into your head. Jell-O, colorful, wiggly desserts. Maybe something your kids loved or you made for church potlucks years ago. But what if I told you that gelatin is actually one of the most powerful joint medicines hiding in plain sight? Here's what gelatin really is. It's cooked collagen that's been broken down into a form your body can absorb almost instantly. No waiting for your digestive system to work overtime. No hoping your body can figure out how to use it. When you consume gelatin, it goes straight to work rebuilding your joints, strengthening your tendons, and cushioning the cartilage that's been wearing thin. But here's the tragedy. We've been so focused on gelatin as a dessert ingredient that we've completely missed its healing power. Meanwhile, people are spending fortunes on collagen powders and supplements when pure gelatin can do the job better and for a fraction of the cost. Now, I'm not talking about those sugary, artificial packets from the grocery store. I'm talking about pure, unflavored gelatin powder from grass-fed sources. No colors, no flavors, no chemicals. Just pure collagen that dissolves completely into whatever you're drinking. Here's the simple way to use it. Take 1 tablespoon of unflavored gelatin and slowly stir it into a warm cup of bone broth, herbal tea, or even just warm water with a squeeze of lemon. Let it dissolve completely. Drink this once a day, preferably in the evening when your body does most of its repair work. What amazes me is how quickly people notice the difference. Within 2 weeks, they're telling me their knees don't crack when they stand up. Their ankles aren't as puffy. They can walk upstairs without gripping the handrail for dear life. One woman told me she hadn't been able to garden for 3 years because getting up and down was too painful. After 6 weeks of her daily gelatin drink, she was back on her knees planting flowers, moving around her garden like she was 20 years younger. The beauty of gelatin is its simplicity. No complicated recipes, no expensive preparations. Just pure collagen support that works fast. Speaking of liquid collagen therapy, our next food takes it to the next level. Now we're getting into what I call liquid gold for your joints. Real bone broth. This isn't the watery stuff you buy in cartons at the grocery store with fancy labels and hefty price tags. I'm talking about genuine, homemade bone broth that's been simmering for hours until it's so rich with collagen that it actually jiggles when you refrigerate it. Here's what makes real bone broth so extraordinary. It contains not just one type of collagen, but types I and III, plus powerful amino acids called glycine and proline that act like targeted missiles against inflammation and tissue damage. When you sip a warm cup of this, you're literally bathing your joints in exactly what they need to repair and rebuild. But here's where most people go wrong. They grab those expensive boxes of bone broth from the store, thinking they're getting the same benefits. Listen, if it's shelf-stable and doesn't gel up when cold, it's not real bone broth. It's basically expensive soup water. The healing magic happens during those long, slow hours of simmering. When you cook bones for 12 to 24 hours, something beautiful occurs. All that collagen, all those minerals locked inside the bones, slowly dissolve into the water, creating a nutrient-dense liquid that your body recognizes and uses immediately. Now, I know what you're thinking. 24 hours? That sounds complicated, but it's actually easier than you think. Here's my simple method. Get some beef knuckle bones, chicken backs, or turkey necks from your butcher or grocery store. Put them in a slow cooker, cover with water, add a splash of apple cider vinegar. That's the secret that helps pull all the minerals out, and let it cook on low. The vinegar is crucial because it acts like a gentle acid that draws calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus right out of the bones and into your broth. Without it, you're missing half the benefit. Your house will smell incredible, and after 12 hours, you'll have liquid joint medicine that's more powerful than any supplement you could buy. I've had people tell me that after just 1 week of drinking a cup of real bone broth daily, their morning stiffness practically disappeared. Their knees stopped making those grinding sounds. Their ankles weren't swollen by dinner time. One gentleman told me he hadn't been able to play with his grandson on the floor for years. After 2 months of daily bone broth, he was down there building blocks and wrestling again. But there's one food that surpasses everything we've discussed so far. And here we are, the most powerful joint-healing food on the planet. Beef tendons. Now, I know some of you have never even heard of eating tendons, let alone tried them. I get it. They're not exactly sitting there in the meat section next to the ground beef and chicken breasts. But listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to tell you could change everything about how your joints feel. Beef tendons are made of nearly 100% pure type I collagen. 100%. That's the exact same collagen that makes up your ligaments, your cartilage, your joint fluid. When you eat properly prepared tendons, you're giving your body the purest, most concentrated dose of exactly what it's made of. This isn't just adding a little collagen to your diet. This is like giving your joints a complete rebuilding kit with premium materials. But here's why most people never discover this miracle food. They look intimidating. They're chewy when raw. They don't look like anything you'd recognize as food. So they get passed over for easier options that deliver a fraction of the benefits. Here's the secret though. When you cook tendons properly, they transform into something completely different. After 8 to 12 hours of slow cooking, they become soft, jelly-like, almost melting in your mouth. All that tough, chewy texture disappears, and what you're left with is pure, absorbable collagen. Now, I'm not suggesting you start with a big plate of tendons on your first try. That would be overwhelming for anyone. Instead, start small. Ask your butcher for beef tendons, or look for them at Asian markets where they're more commonly sold. Put them in your slow cooker with some broth, garlic, and ginger. Let them cook low and slow until they're completely tender. Then take just a small spoonful and mix it into your soup, your stew, or even your bone broth. You'll barely notice the texture, but your joints will notice the benefits within days. I've had people tell me that after just 2 weeks of adding small amounts of cooked tendons to their meals, they could feel their knees getting more stable. Their joint fluid seemed thicker, more cushioning. That bone-on-bone grinding feeling started to disappear. One woman wrote to me saying she hadn't been able to climb stairs normally in 5 years. She'd been going up one step at a time, holding the rail with both hands. After 6 weeks of eating tendons twice a week, she was walking upstairs like she was 30 years younger. These aren't just foods. They're your pathway back to pain-free movement. Now, I want to pause for a moment and acknowledge something that I know many of you are feeling right now. Watching your own body change, feeling your mobility slip away bit by bit. It's heartbreaking, isn't it? Every morning when you wake up and feel that stiffness, every time you have to think twice about taking the stairs, every moment when you realize you can't do something you used to do without even thinking about it. It's not just physical pain, it's grief. You're grieving the person you used to be. The one who could garden for hours, who could chase grandchildren around the yard, who could walk through the grocery store without planning which aisles to skip because your legs hurt too much. And maybe people have told you, well, that's just what happens when you get older. Maybe even doctors have shrugged and suggested you learn to live with it. That's not just unhelpful, it's heartbreaking, because it makes you feel like you're supposed to accept a life that's smaller, more limited, more painful. But here's the truth that I need you to hear today. Your joints can heal. Your body hasn't given up on you, even if you feel like it has. Every single day, your body is trying to repair itself, trying to rebuild what's been breaking down. It wants to heal. You just need to give it the right fuel to do the job. What I've shared with you today isn't just a list of foods. These are tools. These are your weapons against the pain that's been stealing your freedom. They're proof that you don't have to accept a future where every step hurts. I want you to choose just one of these foods, just one, and add it to your routine this week. Maybe it's those pumpkin seeds sprinkled on your morning oatmeal. Maybe it's trying canned salmon with the bones mashed in. Maybe it's making your first pot of real bone broth. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. 6 months from now, a year from now, you want to be the person who took action when it mattered, not the person who watched this video and forgot about it. Strong legs and pain-free joints aren't just for the young. They're not just for other people. With the right nutrition, with the right knowledge, you can reclaim your mobility and your independence. You can be the grandmother who gets down on the floor to play. You can be the person who takes the stairs because you want to, not because you have to prove something. Your best days aren't behind you. They're waiting for you to feed your body what it needs to make them possible. So let me quickly remind you of these 7 game-changing foods that can transform your joint health naturally. Those mineral-rich pumpkin seeds, salmon with the bones mashed right in, sardines with their collagen-packed skin, chicken skin that's been unfairly demonized for decades, pure gelatin that delivers instant collagen, real homemade bone broth that gels like jelly, and those incredibly powerful beef tendons that are nearly pure joint medicine. These aren't complicated. They're not expensive. They're just real foods that give your body exactly what it's been missing. Now I'm curious, which one of these foods caught your attention the most? Which one are you most excited to try this week? Drop a comment below and tell me. Are you ready to try pumpkin seeds in your oatmeal? Are you brave enough to give those beef tendons a shot? I read every single comment that comes in, and I love hearing about your experiences. And listen, if this video opened your eyes to the real power of natural joint healing, if you're starting to feel hopeful again about your mobility, please subscribe to Elderly Healthcare. I share evidence-based health solutions like this every day, specifically for people who refuse to accept that pain and limitation are just part of getting older. Your strongest days aren't behind you. They're ahead of you. Your most mobile, most confident, most pain-free days are waiting for you to feed your body what it needs. I'll see you in the next video, and I can't wait to hear how these foods are changing your life.